Yes, people, what's going on? It's the Boxing Lowdown here, and I'm back with another video. And as always, people, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Feel free to drop a comment if you like, and I'll happily get back to you. Now, I was just doing my, morning rounds, having a look on the internet, seeing what boxing news is about, whether I've missed anything, if there's anything worth talking about today, and I came across this story on Boxing Scene. Very interesting one here, and a good feeling story. Do you know what I mean? It was one of them goodwill type of stories, which I'll bring to your attention, but. Park Si-hun. Now, this was the guy who Roy Jones Jr. fought in the Olympic gold medal final in South Korea. One of the worst, no, the worst boxing robbery I've ever seen, ever seen. Park Si-hun winning that fight and ultimately winning the gold medal. A well-known story, right? He met up with Roy Jones Jr. and it was a get together, and he gave Roy Jones Jr. back the gold medal that should have been his from the Olympics. So let's get straight into the story, people, on Boxing Scene. Let's take a look at it right now. So let's get straight to the article here, people. Roy Jones Jr. receives Olympic gold decades after controversial loss, and that is an understatement, man. This was the worst robbery I've ever seen. There's no robbery worse than this one. This was the worst one I've ever seen, this fight here. But let's get into it. One of the all-time injustices of Olympic boxing has at least symbolically been corrected. In a meeting that was 35 years in the making, Roy Jones Jr. and Park Si-hun met face-to-face in May 2023. So this isn't new. This actually isn't a new thing. I guess they're just releasing the details out to the public now. But yeah, 2 years ago, Park Si-hun traveled to Roy Jones Jr.'s gym and gave him back the Olympic gold medal. Let's keep reading. The two met in a light middleweight gold medal match of the 1988 Olympics in Seoul, Korea. Jones dominated the fight, outlanding his opponent by nearly triple, outlanded his opponent by nearly triple, but losing a 3-2 decision that has been described as perhaps the worst in Olympic boxing history. Park, for his part, acknowledged Jones's dominance in the fight afterwards, lifting up a dejected Jones in the ring. And yeah, you have to remember, even though this was a horrible robbery, Park Si-hun's not a judge. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't the one that wrote the judges' scorecards, right? So you can't throw too much stick his way. He just lost the fight, but he got given it. Do you know what I mean? We need to really park our anger at the judges. But even he knew. Do you know what I mean? After the fight, he was like, he lifted up Jones to kind of, I remember that as well, when he kind of lifted him up. And you knew it was yeah, bro, I know I didn't win this, man, but yo, like, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, bro. Like, it was one of them. That's pretty much what it was. So two of the judges who scored the fight were banned from judging Olympic boxing, and the scoring system was changed in an attempt to prevent future controversy. So that tells it all there. Do you know what I mean? But now it says Jones is working on a documentary that touches on, in part, the Olympic controversy and how he overcame that to become a Hall of Famer and one of the greatest boxers of the 90s. I would definitely watch that. I would absolutely watch that documentary. I'm not sure when that's out, but yeah. According to a release that was issued Wednesday, Park traveled to Jones's ranch in Pensacola, Florida for a surprise visit. Park, who had dealt with depression and had attempted suicide in the years after his Olympic gold win, handed over the medal to Jones and held up his hand as the rightful winner. So I didn't know that. I didn't know that Park was dealing with depression and attempted suicide. Was that related, or was that something else? I'm not sure. Maybe we might find out more in the documentary. But yeah, you know, it's a nice story, but it won't change the result officially. Do you know what I mean? It won't change it officially. Park Si-hun will still be looked at as the winner, but at least he done the right. At least he's just given Jones back the medal. Do you know what I mean? As a gesture of goodwill, knowing that he lost, and they've rose above it, and Jones has been given the gold medal, which he should have got, officially. But it's nice of the Park Si-hun to go travel to Pensacola, Florida, and give that medal to Jones. Do you know what I mean? Because he could have just took it and ran with it. He could have just said, "Yeah, I thought I won the fight and whatever," but he didn't. So fair play to. So there you have it, people, man. A goodwill story, really. There, you know what I mean. Shout out to Park Si-hun. I was unaware that he was going through what he was going through, so I hope he's managed to overcome that, and he's in a good place, because I'm not sure what that was about. But anybody going through those sort of issues, you just gotta wish them well and hope for the best and say a prayer for them. But yeah, a goodwill story. Look forward to seeing when that documentary does come out. But let me know what you guys think of it, man. Just a short one from me. Roy Jones Jr. getting back his Olympic gold medal from Park Si-hun that was rightfully his. Do you know what I mean? Maybe not officially, but at least, he can acknowledge that, this is him. This is for him. So let me know your thoughts about it anyway, people, and I'll catch you on the next video.